How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Brewers Lab. We're your hosts, Devin and Caleb. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 pet cards. Each of us have 10, and we're really excited to dive into them.
Definitely. I'm kind of excited to see if any of these cards are on your list because we did this completely independent. I've got a list, he's got a list, and we have not shared. So I'm kind of going to be curious if maybe we share any crossover, but we're gonna figure that out. I'll kick us
Yeah.
off with our first one if you don't
Oh, yeah,
mind.
no, go right ahead.
I've got Bane of Progress. This is a 6 CMC creature elemental. It says when this creature enters, destroy all artifacts, enchantments, and then you get to put a 1/1 counter on this creature for each permanent destroyed this way. I consider this a pet card mostly because it is under like it is a dollar or
Yeah.
actually less than a dollar. It's like 55 cents and it does see a lot of play in the majority of my decks. I just think having a way to get rid of all of your opponent's value engines, all of your opponent's mana resources that aren't specifically lands, especially when you're in green and ramping ahead of them, does just kind of put you over the edge. This card has won me a lot of games.
No, I actually really like that card. I actually have it in my Get Rog Ravenous Ride deck because I just destroy everything, then sacrifice the Get Rog, and then all those 1/1 counters on it. Just draw that many cards, put that many lands on the battlefield. You're just way over the top. I actually really like that card just for the fact that there's been a lot of really good artifacts and enchantments that come out nowadays, and I feel like it's more important now than ever than just to get rid of them.
I agree. I've almost like liked the fact that I can get rid of all of the artifacts and enchantments more than creatures, which is
Mhm.
weird to say, but I value single target removal for all the creatures. And then, but in the case of artifacts and enchantments, everybody's going to have those and they're going to be everybody's value engines. So you just want to slam something to get rid of everybody's at the same time.
Yeah, no, sometimes you just got to do it, even if it's on your own stuff too. Like it just grows bigger and becomes a threat. Yeah, this is just a situation where we don't know each other's list. I was kind of surprised by that one, but I completely forgot about it. But it's still very powerful. I dig it. But well, I'm gonna go to mine, and this first one that I have is actually Mystic Reflection. This card is so fun. I don't know if you know that one, but it came out of Kaldheim, and so for one and a
That's
blue.
the MDFC.
No, it's the Foretell one.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
it has
that's a
like the
super fun
sharks on
card.
there as far as the
I
art
like
goes.
it.
This one's really good and honestly could work offensively and defensively. Choose a target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures, planeswalkers, would enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies as the creature, and it has the foretell ability. So you pay like two and then put in the foretell zone, then cast it on a later turn. I like this a lot because it could really hose a lot of people's commanders when they decide, oh, I'm just going to slam an Atali Primal Conqueror. No, let's just actually make that into a Land of War Elves when it enters. So I just like it for the defensive part. Also, the offensive part about it is just like, oh, hey, I have like 5 tokens entering the battlefield at the same time. Let's just make it into this creature. So there's a lot of case use scenario for this.
That does sound busted, dude. Avenger of Zendikar would be kind of crazy with that
Yeah.
card.
I think that was like the first example that a lot of people use this for when Kaldheim was spoiled. They just like, oh, I'll just make all those saplings enter as Avenger of Zendikars, then you make that much more saplings. I just love it a lot.
It's so gross. Yeah, no, I like it. I like that as a pet card too. And I think now would be a good time to like our criteria of pet
Oh,
cards.
right,
Maybe
yeah.
we should have gone over this first, but we specifically did want to focus on like more budget cards that you could pick up for like $5 or less. We didn't want to say I'm putting the Great Hinge in every deck because I love it, which is true, but it's like, okay, you don't need to hear that the Great Hinge in 80 $40 card is my pet card, right? What are the niche cards that you're playing that
Right.
you just kind of feel like you're on that a lot of other people don't play? So
No,
that's kind of our
exactly.
criteria.
Yeah, and if it was a list like that, I would have been putting Terror of the Peaks right at number one. But I
Oh,
mean,
dude,
when
same.
we were talking about this subject, we wanted to make sure it was going to be budget so that people could understand. Oh, hey, this is how it works, and they want to try it out for themselves. They don't have to spend a huge price tag on it.
Yeah, and I will say these are cards that became a pet card because they were so impactful
Yeah.
for me in game. And maybe that doesn't mean shove it in every deck afterwards, but sometimes it does mean that, and it does just kind of end up working out.
Yeah, especially for those niche decks too, because like I'm not going to put Mystic Reflection in every individual deck, but if I'm making a lot of tokens or if I'm just trying to be on the defensive, it's actually really good. It just kind of reminds me of Oko in a way because you remove a commander without even removing it, and they don't go back to the command zone.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. That's not okay that you're doing that
Well,
with
hey,
that
if they're
card.
playing Atali, then they deserve it completely.
That's fair. Okay, the Atali player deserves it.
I
I'll
don't
give
do it
you
on like
that.
every individual commander, but I do it like on select commanders or even select cards. Like I usually most likely will use this in a scenario where I want to copy my own things, but in the other scenario, I will do it to just remove a threat without removing it.
Specifically for spite plays, he's like, "You made me mad. You bolted my elf.
Exactly.
I'm going to make your commander useless." No. My next one is Likeness Looter. I really enjoy this card. This is 2 CMC in Dimir colors, so one blue, one black. It has flying, and then it has the loot effect. You can draw a card, then discard a card, and then it has an X ability. It says Likeness Looter becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X, except it has flying and has this ability. I really, really like this effect. If you're playing at higher power Magic, it's kind of cool to just be able to discard a creature that you need to resolve, and then you turn Likeness Looter into that copy and you completely miss the stack. Maybe a key piece hit the graveyard and now you can just have Likeness Looter become a copy of it. It's kind of like that land that becomes a copy of
Oh,
anything in the
I know what you're talking
graveyard.
about. Yeah,
Yeah,
the green
but
one. Yeah.
exactly, but specifically for creatures. So after finding out like how useful that is, give Likeness Looter a try, and I just like that effect, especially in your reanimator strategies where you're throwing your big creatures into the graveyard. It's amazing early game to get those big bombs out of your hand into the graveyard to get ready to be reanimated.
No, I dig that choice. I like it in Hashaton, like just the
Oh
discard,
yeah.
like all the looters that you're going to be using in that deck. I think that's very good. And honestly, like if you're just looting those big bombs, you just discard them and then just make them into big threats with the likeness looter. This came out of I think what Eldraine, Wilds of Eldraine, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, this one was really good. I'm glad I got a copy myself, even though it's not really that expensive, only like a couple of bucks, I think.
Yeah, it's like a dollar eight
Oh yeah,
cents.
so
But yeah, I
that's great.
absolutely love this card.
Well, and honestly, what I like about looting effects in a general sense, people need to run them more, like in my opinion, because they're giving you card selection. Yeah, you're not getting the card that you had in your hand, but card selection is very important. A lot of people will just try to run card advantage engines, but they don't think about card selection. That's definitely also equally important too.
I agree. And something I've been on recently is cards that scale into the late
Hmm.
game and are very useful in the early game. So this enters turn two, gets your giant creature out of your hand, and hopefully finds you that land drop. And then in the late game, it can either become that giant creature if you haven't found a way to reanimate it.
Right. No, that's awesome. And so we are going to move on to the next one. And this one is more of a pick because I just like big stompy creatures. And that's Shaman of the Grey Hunt. So this
Oh, I
one,
love that
I
card.
just love it just for the. I mean, it's a little bit more limited. I know that because it's focusing on teamer color combination, so it could only go in those decks and more. But I think it's a really good effect, even for the first ability. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So, I mean, that by itself, you're just making your creatures bigger over time. Obviously, you do get that card draw effect when more creatures are bigger as well, but it kind of does everything you want if you go wide with a bunch of tokens. You just, all right, make them bigger when they swing and deal combat damage, and then you just get to draw cards equal to the amount that you have that are power 4 or greater.
I agree. And to your point, I love this in both of the strategies
Mm-hmm.
that it wants to see play in. In your token strategies, eventually those tokens are going to get 4 power because he's putting counters on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then in your power matter strategies, where you're constantly putting 4/4s on the battlefield, like your Eshki decks,
Yeah,
this is 4 mana, draw cards equal to your board state, which is insane.
yeah.
I do think this card needs to see more play.
Well,
I'm a fan.
and it's repeatable too. Like not a lot of people think about
Yeah.
that, but it's like okay, you could activate the ability twice if you have 8 mana, then you could just draw more cards if you have nothing else you're doing. There's just a lot of good reasons why I just put this on a lot of decks that I mean, it's kind of hard because like you want to go wide with a lot of big creatures, but at the same time, you don't necessarily need to.
Yeah, and to your point, like let's just pretend we have 4 creatures on the battlefield. 4 mana, draw 4 cards
Yeah,
is really good. Like we take those,
yeah.
and I just wish it was legendary, man. Like this would
Oh,
be so cool.
that would have been like a commander a long time ago if that was the case.
I agree. Like I love this effect, but I guess I'll kick us off with the next one.
All right.
I've I've actually been called out in the comment section for using this card a ton, and it's kind of been like referred to as my pet card. It's Ruthless
Oh
Technomancer.
yeah, okay. I know. Yeah, yeah. You talk
Yeah,
about that one a
see,
lot.
you're already like, yeah, no, you didn't even,
Yeah,
yeah,
duh.
no,
All
this
right.
is yeah, a 4 CMC human wizard, 3 generic, 1 black. When Ruthless Technomancer enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature you control. If you do, you get to create a number of treasure tokens equal to that creature's power. But then it has another ability for 3 mana. you can sacrifice X artifacts and return target creature card with power X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. X can't be 0. So again, this is one of those cards that, quite frankly, it's just won me a lot of games. 9 times out of 10, I'm looping this in and out of the graveyard in my Jund strategies, sacrificing my 8 power creatures, generating 8 treasure tokens, and that usually gives me enough mana to get another 8 power creature on the battlefield, sacrifice my Ruthless Technomancer, and get it back on the battlefield to sacrifice again for even more treasure tokens. So yeah, I love this card.
Well, it's a lot of combo potential, but also you just get to make a lot of mana off it. Like, obviously, in
Oh yeah.
Korvold decks, it's super stupid just drawing that much cards based off of the amount of treasures you do. But even outside of that, just if you're playing a big creature deck, it's kind of a mistake if you don't have it in there if you're in black.
I agree. And another thing about this card is I always talk about what leads to you winning the game,
Mm-hmm.
and it's casting 2 or 3 bombs in one turn
Mm-hmm.
that your opponents just can't deal with. So even slamming this on the battlefield, the fact that it gives you treasure tokens instead of mana right away means that you can store that mana for exploding next turn, and you can kind of just like win out of nowhere. But 9 times out of 10, if I cast Ruthless Technomancer, I'm gonna try to put a win on the
Yeah.
stack.
Well, the fact that, I mean, it could have just had that first text and that's it, but it had that reanimation effect at the end. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
they made it way over the top. It could have just had that first part. It would have been good.
Yeah, people forget about that, but oh, dude, I love the reanimation aspect of this card for
Yeah.
sure.
So, yeah, obviously that is a very good card. I would actually had it on my list if I didn't think about it, but I didn't think about it actually because I thought about other cards. So the next one that I wanted to talk about is Duelist Heritage. I love this card so much. So this one is very political in a lot of different aspects. Whenever one or more creatures attack, notice that first. It's any creature attacking, so that includes your opponent's creatures too, not just your own creatures. You may have target attacking creature gain double strike until end of turn. I love this for my Gishath deck. Just having the ability to give Gishath double strike, but also on the fact that you say, oh, hey, if you don't attack at me, I'll give double strike to that creature if you swing it at somebody else. Like, because it's a May ability. You don't necessarily need to give any creature double strike when they're attacking. So this is definitely political, and I'm all about it.
Dude, I actually remember you playing this card against me. We've played like 2 games together,
Yeah.
and in that game he did play this card, and I 100% hit the other opponent just because he said I'd give your creature double strike. So
Well,
it
yeah.
works. Like, yeah, the political aspect of this does just do the thing.
Well, and honestly, it's just like it definitely feels like goad without goad if you're using it politically not politically correct. That sounds funny, but but yeah, Duelist Heritage. I really love it for that aspect. There's a lot of situations where some people have card draw advantage engines, and they're like, "Well, I want to swing in with my Toski, but if I give a double strike, I get to draw 2 cards." I'm like, "Sure, as long as you do it as somebody else."
I like it. And like I said, the political aspect of that does just work.
Yeah, and it honestly closes out games quickly because people want to take advantage of the double strike too. So there's a lot of things going for it. That's why I put it on the list, and it's only like $1.27.
That's a good point because, dude, some commander games when everybody's just holding their creature back
Ah, I hate
just
that.
becomes a slog,
That's
man.
why I love Kratos. Yeah, I mean separate topic, but yeah, that's why I love
Yeah.
Kratos. But
My next card is Chainer Nightmare Adept. I
okay, yeah,
put this in almost any reanimator strategy just because I think haste is such an underrated keyword and its other effects. But this is a 4 CMC Rakdos legendary creature. It says you can discard a card and you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. Activate this only once each turn. It also says whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until end of turn. So that does a couple things. It gives your commander haste because you're casting your commander
mm,
from the command zone, not your hand. It gives everything you cast or reanimate from the graveyard haste and basically exile, as long as it's not your hand, this is a massive haste enabler, and I have been able to discard things like Selvala Heart of the Wilds with its ability, and then cast Selvala Heart of the Wilds from the graveyard to then give my Selvala Heart of the Wilds haste. So it does also kind of give the creature you need haste, even if it is in your hand. You just have to discard it.
yeah. No, I really like Chainer for a lot of different reasons. Just kind of like what you explained. Also, funny enough, like you don't have to discard a creature card in order just to
No.
cast any creature from the graveyard. It's at any time you could discard a sorcery, and then you could cast any creature that was either countered, that was like, I don't know, destroyed. You could just recast it, and that's all you have to really do. That's also something pretty powerful about Chainer. I haven't seen this one in a while, honestly. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I do recognize that it has some really cool art, and also it's powerful.
Yeah, no, this card is also won me games, and you're gonna hear that a lot about the cards that made my pet
Mine
card
too,
list.
honestly. Yeah,
I just
random.
shoved it right back on you, my bad.
All right, so next one is another white card, and this has helped me at least as far as like protecting me in the game, and that's Settle the Wreckage. So Settle the Wreckage is basically a host for a lot of people that are attacking at me. So this is exiling all attacking creatures target player controls. That player may search his or her library for that many basic cards, put those onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle his or her library. And the reason why I like this so much is because with the ever growing case of getting a lot of non-basic nowadays, like people are just skimping on them. People can't even get like most basics on the battlefield for the return of the creatures that they got exiled. And I like this for a lot of different reasons too, because it's offensive and defensive. I usually like to refer that a lot because in situations where I have like maybe 3 or 4 creatures, but I have a high CMC commander, I could just attack with them, exile them, get 4 lands on the battlefield, then next turn cast my commander again.
Yeah, that's a super fair point. No one plays basics
I
anymore.
know.
Like, I try to include like 9 in my 3 color decks
Yeah.
at least, like 3 of each color. Maybe I'll back off on that because there is some 3 color decks that just favor one color very
Yeah.
like, yeah. Like if you're running Elf Ball on a 3 color commander deck,
Green,
you're gonna
yeah.
be like 70% green.
Mm-hmm.
So I do look at that, but you're right. People just greed for those land bases.
Yeah.
So yeah, I dig it.
And it's always like I mean, this is like something from when I played Standard a long time ago. Like, it brought terror to me when I saw 4 open mana left. Like, you thought 2 blue mana was scary. Like, no, this is even worse because you get a complete blowout.
He said it's my pet card because I have
Well,
PTSD.
and I just want to give PTSD to other people after that.
I like it. Hey, I'm here for it. My next pet card is Goblin Engineer.
Oh, yeah.
This one sees play in a lot of my decks. It's a 2 CMC creature, Goblin Artificer. It says when it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for any artifact and put it in your graveyard, and then you can pay 1 red to sacrifice another artifact to return or artifact with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I am in love with this card. It just sees play in my equipment decks. It sees play in my graveyard decks because 9 times out of 10, what I'm doing with this in the equipment aspect is I'm grabbing Sword of Hearth and Home, I'm blinking him, and I'm finding every 3 CMC equipment and putting it into my graveyard and reanimating it by sacrificing something like a treasure token, right? It gives you instant value. And then for my graveyard decks, I'm grabbing something like a Brass's Tunnel Grinder and then maybe like the Ever Flowing Well. You can even make a token copy of your Goblin Engineer with a Cursed Mirror, and then you're blinking Cursed Mirror, or sorry, not blinking, but you're sacrificing Cursed Mirror to bring back your Brass's Tunnel Grinder, discarding your hand, drawing more cards, and then next turn you're discarding you're sacrificing your Brass's Tunnel Grinder, bringing your Cursed Mirror back, copying whatever the biggest creature is on the battlefield. So I love how consistent this guy has made my decks, honestly.
Not gonna lie, I just used it for like maybe 1 or 2 times the value, but getting Sword of Hearth and Home kind of makes sense with it. I mean, I like it because it's a tutor, but also a way to reanimate stuff. Like, all in one package, that's a very good, efficient engine for that. I dig it.
Especially, dude, Agatha Soul Cauldron decks go hard with this guy too.
Oh,
Like,
just for
if you
feedback?
have
Oh.
yeah, if you have 3 CM or a 3 CMC artifact or below, that's super important to your strategy. I would urge you to try this guy out. He's just been super impactful. And then he is in red colors. So even if you're in mono red, just grabbing Cursed Mirror will allow you to kind of find every single 3 CMC artifact and below and then put it into the graveyard eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like this is over the course of many turns, but it happens.
Yeah, no, I definitely. The only time I really played this card was when I was playing Atali when Dockside Extortionist was allowed, because I had a lot of goblins in the deck. There's that specific goblin tutor that gave you like Dockside or the other things, but if I already got Dockside, I just got that one, and then I got, what is it, Cloudstone Curio, so that I could just kind of combo off from there. Obviously, that's more of a CDH scenario, but that's kind of dead now because Dockside's dead. So yeah, obviously I just wanted to mention that because that's the only experience I had with it.
You can grab Sticker Goblin and Cloudstone.
No, thank you.
Sticker
I
Goblin,
don't even want to
Cloudstone.
learn that.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So
your turn.
oh yeah. So speaking of artifacts, I did want to go over Liquimetal Torque, and this one is very good. Like I run this in most decks that don't have very good creature removal. So like red, green. In some situations, I'll run it in like blue because there is some artifact removal here and there. Like I don't know, like I know there's some. But besides that point, Liquid Metal Torque I think is just so good because target online permanent becomes an artifact in addition to the other type. Man, I can't even speak right there.
My man needs some water.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Liquid Metal Torque. I love that card so much mainly because it's useful in situations where you have an abrade, but somebody has a big creature on the battlefield. You can't just do 3 damage to it, so you just turn that creature into an artifact, abrade that creature, just outright destroying it. This is just more useful if anything else because it's a mana rock. It only costs one colorless to tap, and so I think that's just useful overall. It's just very versatile.
Bro, I had someone dog walk me with shenanigans and a freaking liquid metal
Oh,
torque.
really?
Let me read shenanigans real quick. I can't even remember what this card
Wait,
does,
that's
but
actually a
I
specific card.
yeah, shenanigans is a card and
Oh,
is not okay. You get a destroy target artifact and it has dredge one.
oh,
Yeah, so they were just dredging this card and then just destroying my board piece by piece.
oh,
It
that's
was
awful.
gross, bro. Yeah, no, so liquid metal torque, I have, dude, I have like memory. That card with Shenan,
Yeah.
it's not okay.
Well, I
It's
love
just
it
not
for just
okay.
like outside of just red. Like it's good with green because they have a lot of naturalized effects. So like destroying target
Hmm.
artifact or enchantment. I know you don't really run too much mana rocks in green, but this is one I feel like a lot of people should run.
No, I like that. I like that for sure. I do see the merit of it. And like I said, it's been used on me to great effect. So yeah, definitely liquid metal torque has that little extra oomph it needs
Hmm.
to be that colorless artifact ramp that
Right.
you're running.
Exactly.
Moving on to my next one, I don't think this one's going to surprise anybody. It's Korvold fae-cursed King.
Oh, geez, just straight up Korvold. Oh man.
Okay, straight up Cor. Okay, hear me out. So my Korvold deck was the first deck banned from my playgroup, and I loved the card so much. So he just kind of ended up finding his way in the 99,
Okay.
and then I kept getting the response. This is just Korvold without Korvold, and you're trying to find him, right? And I was like, okay, no, it's not that,
You
but it
just
does.
Eldritch Evolution into Korvold.
No, 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 no. That's not exactly how blatant it was, but maybe the deck was treasures, and maybe it was a Jund deck, and maybe
Yeah.
whenever I found Korvold, it did just win you the game.
Oh man, that's
But
hilarious.
it just ends up making a lot of sense with my builds. You know, with Ruthless Technomancer being one of my pet cards, and then you see Korvold, you put something like an old Gnawbone in the deck. It just,
Hmm.
Korvold starts making a lot more sense whenever a good majority of your deck generates a lot of treasure tokens.
Yeah, no, I made a Corval deck for CDH a long time ago, but then I dismantled it because obviously you're not running blue, so it's not as good, but still it's really powerful because I mean you don't have Dockside anymore, so you're using land shenanigans as far as CDH. Again, it's kind of like in that weird Commander limbo, but in the 99, I didn't really think about it that much. I mean, I probably should.
I'm going to be honest, that's where I put all of my commanders that I would never play in the command
Huh?
zone. I put him in the 99 because I'm like, okay, it's just a card advantage engine.
Right.
Like he's my Jundristic study. And he's just a little cooler. That's
Well, and
all.
I feel like not many people think about that. I didn't think about that, where you're just like, oh, I can't really play this commander. I'll put it in the 99.
Yeah, dude, that's what I instantly do. I'm like, okay, I can't play Corvold because I'll be a bad person unless you're playing CEDH, right?
Right.
And then, like he said, then you're kind of playing like a little bit on the fringer side of
Yeah.
things. Honestly, anything that doesn't have blue is just going to be a little
Hmm.
bit like less impactful at interacting with the stack. But yeah, Korvold's one of my most loved cards, so it just ends up finding its way into a deck if it
Yeah.
makes sense.
I love Corvold. I tried playing it in standard, not that great, but it's really good in commander for sure.
Yeah.
So gonna move on and gonna talk about Return the Favor. This is one of my favorite cards to put in red. This is a little cost intensive the more you activate on the spree ability. So for double red, you have two different spree abilities. You copy target instant sorcery, activated ability, or triggered ability. You may choose new targets for the copy, or you could just redirect another spell. And the nice part is you could actually choose both. There's many situations where I've just used this to just cast and then just copy someone's fetch trigger so that I could just fetch a land and put it on my side of the battlefield too. There's also some other situations where somebody had a really good busted ETB where I decided, well, I'm just going to copy that too. Like, I mean, there's some situation where I actually copied an Atali trigger too. So there's multiple uses outside of just obviously the second ability of redirecting a spell. Obviously, you can do both, which is just really strong. Very versatile. I know it's a little bit more expensive being 3 or 4 mana, but I still think it's quite useful.
I see it because I'll be honest, the amount of times I've been blown out by like deflecting SWAT is not zero.
Yeah.
Like, so the fact that it's kind of like a deflecting SWAT that you'd pay for, I think is good. I think the deflecting SWAT effect does just win games if you target the right thing for
Right.
sure. So I see it. I see the
Yeah.
vision.
Well, and I like it because it's like the only type of ability in red, or there's some other abilities like Roaming Throne where you could actually copy another triggered ability of another commander you have. So I just like it for just multiple uses. It's really doing a lot. I wish there was more options as far as like copying like abilities on the stack, but that's more dreamland for me.
I dig it. Moving on to my next one. This is also not going to surprise anybody who watches my content regular. It's Shigeki Jukai Visionary.
Okay.
This is a 2 CMC legendary enchantment creature snake druid that has pay 2, return Shigeki Jukai Visionary to its owner's hand, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and then put the rest into your graveyard. Then it has a channel ability that allows you to return X cards from your graveyard to your hand, and it's X2 and then 2 green.
Okay.
This card is one of my favorite cards to see in my opening hand.
Oh.
I play it, and then I can consistently start milling, getting my milk plan going. It's also ramping me while I mill. And then if I accidentally mill a key piece, I can easily channel him to get my key piece back. It does only seem super useful in like turn 1 through 3 really is where you actually utilize the mill effect. But the fact that it has that channel ability means that it does scale into the late game, right? If your key pieces gets removed and you top deck Shigeki, you're like, okay, I could just channel this guy, return that back to my hand, and then you can do that at instant speed as well. So it's like just a super flexible card that I love in all of my mill strategies. And I've even been toying with it in my enchantment strategies
Oh,
since it's an enchantment
that's right.
creature
It
that
is an
returns
enchantment
itself.
entering.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So it's an enchantment creature that returns itself back to your hand while it's milling you. In Anathea, this card is just so good.
yeah, I never really paid too much attention to Shigeki because I saw it was a legendary creature, kind of like Korvold, where I'm like, all right, it's in the command zone. That sucks because you want to discard it sometimes. But I do see it for the case of 99. I actually really dig that for a mill strategy because I feel like over time, like I feel like green has been doing a lot better for milling compared to other
Oh
colors. Like
yeah,
I think it's a better mill color. Don't quote me, but it's definitely better a mill color than blue in my opinion in some situations.
I agree. And that's been one of those archetypes that's been becoming more and more prominent. I actually did build a full of commander deck of this guy.
Oh, you did?
And
So I'm just
the
shitting on
dude,
it. Sorry.
no, you're fine, you're fine. So the entire goal of it was to net 4 mana whenever I cast him.
Okay.
So I'm on cards that reduce the cost of green spells, reduce the cost of activated abilities. Then you only need 2 mana, right? You only
Hmm.
need 2 green mana. Then you're on Defiler of Vigor.
Oh
That's
yeah.
going to reduce it by another one. And then you're also on landfall strategies like your Lotus Cobras and then Ashaya's in the deck.
Okay.
So and even if you're not on Ashaya, the fact that he grabs the land cards and puts it onto the battlefield does generate the mana as well. So you do get to a point where you can mill your entire deck with this guy on the battlefield. So it is like a really fun mono green commander, and you can kind of just build mono green enchantments, which is like
Yeah.
something you don't really think about. But then when you think about every time you cast your commander, you're drawing a card because it's an enchantment, and you're milling for it, and you're putting a land into play, you start generating enough value for it to make sense. But it is like Definitely one of the jankier strategies,
Yeah.
but super fun at the same time.
No, I dig that. This is what it's all about. We're talking about cards we like, and I never would have put that
Yeah.
on my list because I didn't think about it. But obviously, it's one of your pet cards, and so this is kind of like bringing it back to the point we actually didn't see each other's lists. If you saw my face
Mm-mm.
reaction off of like him taking them, like, oh, okay, I never thought about that one,
Yeah.
but it's great. I dig
He
it
was
for the
trying to make me
strategy.
cry. He was trying to make me
Yeah, and I'm
cry
trying to
right there.
bully him right now. So, but he'll probably bully me back for the next one, and that's Dream Devourer. I love Dream Devourer. This is the one
Okay, I
where
like it.
each non-land card in your hand without foretell has foretell. Its foretell cost is equal to its mana cost reduced by 2. And when you foretell a card, Dream Devourer cost gets +2/+0 until end turn. I like this mainly because it's a way to like cost reduce ahead of time for cards that you're going to be playing later on, and it's any non-land permanent. So like actually any non-land, so you could actually just cast any instant or sorcery too. But I like this because sometimes I want to play a big creature, but I don't have the mana for it. Maybe turn 3, I just foretell it. Then turn 4, I just get a play right away. So there's just a lot of the uses for this one, especially in a play from exile theme.
I kind of like that because like I've been saying, like just to tie it together, like winning the game does kind of come from casting these high CMC spells
Mm-hmm.
like at the same time, because if you slam a high CMC creature, you become the threat. They want to get rid of it for an entire rotation. So the fact that you're getting a cost reducer that allows you to kind of like not cheat into play, but reduce it to where you can kind of sneak in other threats in the same turn, I kind of like that. I dig
Well,
it.
and there's also a lot of instances where you may be playing a play from exile theme or even play from anywhere else than other than your hand kind of theme. There's a lot of those situations where this just becomes more useful because it'll just cost reduce them. I mean, there are some situations where I played like 5 foretell cards all in a row, and then this just became like a 10-3 that I just swung in with. There's some situations like that where it happens. It's just kind of funny, but Dream Devourer is definitely one of more of those niche ones. They did make like a kind of a reprint, not really a reprint. I wanted this as a commander, but then they made like a new D&D Secret Lair with like Edgin or something like that. It's like a blue red version of the same exact effect, making everything have foretell. Then you get some extra bonus. But I like Dream Devourer just because it's the first one that did it.
That's super fair. My next one might come as a surprise, and I don't know how subscribed I am to this, but it's how I feel right now, if that
Okay.
makes sense. So I don't know if this card will be my pet card like 5 years from now, but right now I just love it. It's Valley Floodcaller.
Oh yeah,
It's
you've
a
talked about this a
three
lot.
C
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 3 CMC creature otter wizard. It has flash. You may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash, and then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, birds, frogs, otters, rats you control get +1/+1, and then you get to untap them. I've been shoving this in like my teamer list that like allow your creatures to tap for mana, and then I've just been untapping all of my otters, birds, and stuff whenever I'm casting these non-creature spells, and it just does insane things for these storm strategies. Especially if you have Storm Splitter in the deck, and then you can kind of just win the game off of Valley Floodcaller.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just has been seeing a more prominent stance in my storm lists. And anytime I'm able to build an archetype around a single card, and I kind of latch onto that for a little bit for a couple videos over the course of a like 5 or so different commanders, it kind of just does become one of my pet cards, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, and honestly, I love the art too. It's focusing on otters and all those other creature types. I dig it, honestly, like making those mana dorks tap for more mana than just like storming off like crazy. I think it's really powerful. Obviously, it has some CDH play and application too. So there's a lot going for it. I haven't really put in much decks because I don't play Storm too much. I do want to play Storm a lot more, but I just never really found the right commander for me.
Yeah, it just makes people upset. Can you believe that?
Oh,
Like
what
they
a
just get
shocker.
mad. Like
And
you're 20
EDH
minutes in.
never.
Yeah, you've drawn like 20 cards, you're 20 minutes in, and you still have no way of winning the game, and people just get mad at you. I just don't get it.
Audacity.
Audacity.
All right. This is another card that kind of is a storm card in a way. This is in green. This is Monstrous Vortex. And
Mm.
have you ever played this card?
I've never justified it enough because I never hit like a threshold I'm happy enough for. Because it's like 5 power, right?
Yeah, it's 5 power, but trust me, this is probably one of the most insane cards I've ever played. Like in situations, obviously, where it really does a lot when it gets going. Obviously, it's a kind of a do nothing card if you're not playing 5 power creatures, but Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, discover X, where that X is that mana value. So obviously it's a little bit more limited towards creatures with power 5 or greater, but if you play Helga, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do play
Okay,
Helga.
so this should honestly go in because you're discovering each time. So like something really important about this card is the fact you're casting creature spells from Discover too. So every time you say, let's just say you casted a power 8 or greater, then you get to discover 8, and then oh hey, look at that, I discovered into another 8 drop, and then just discover again, and then discover again, because it doesn't limit it to just once per turn. It's just anytime you're
Right.
discovering, you're casting more creature spells overall.
I think my problem is I never hit the density as far as power.
Okay.
Like if this was CMC, I'm there. But
Okay,
the
CMC,
problem
yeah.
is it's power, and it's like I just don't end up hitting that threshold I'm happy with.
Yeah.
But I am looking for a deck to put it in. This has been on my radar. I've just not found a deck to put it in yet.
Yeah.
But Helga might be it.
It,
That might
it,
be
it
that
worked
might
for
be
me
the
with
way.
Helga with Kuruga as the companion. Like I played that deck for a little bit. I took it apart because it was just way too powerful, even with Kuruga as the companion.
That's crazy. But I see it though. Dude, Helga's just gross.
I
It's
know.
not okay.
No, it's really not.
It's one of those decks where if you're doing the synergistic thing, you're winning the game.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
like as soon as you start doing the thing, which the thing is tapping her for mana,
Yeah.
not hard to do,
Yeah.
and then you just start winning, and then you're the problem. But there you, it's not okay. It's just not okay.
I
Yeah,
get it. Yeah, no, Helga is just not an okay card. Even if you try to depower it, it's still strong.
it's kind of like the Korvold thing. It's the
Yeah,
Korvold thing for sure.
exactly. I think we need like
But
a coin term for that, honestly.
exactly, I've been calling it a Korvold. Like that.
I've been
That's
I've been
a
calling it
just
the commander limbo. Like it's just like in a weird.
that's a
Yeah,
good term for it. And that's why you got to put Helga in your 99, man.
yeah.
Build Aang, Helga in the 99. Send it. No.
Shoot.
Or maybe not Aang, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a good mana dork.
Yeah.
So
My next one is also going to surprise absolutely nobody. It's the Reaver Cleaver. This is a 3
it sucks.
CMC artifact equipment. No, I swear to God, no. It's like, take it back now. It's a 3 CMC artifact equipment. You equip the creature, it gets +1, it gets trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you generate that much treasure tokens. Deal 5 damage, get 5 treasure tokens. And this one does just win me games. This card has won me game after game. And every argument for I'm going to wait for you to equip that and then remove your commander, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I understand that you can get 2 for 1. I understand you can get blown out. And I also understand that this wins me game after game consistently. And it's going to keep doing it.
Well, that's the funny part about Commander. Everyone likes to make up scenarios in their mind where they're just going to remove it right when it happens. But like, if you're facing 3 other opponents, most likely they're playing scary stuff too. So you might just slip under the radar for just equipping something and then just getting a ton of mana off the Reaver Cleaver. I love this card too. It's really good. I mean, it's not on my list, but I didn't realize it was kind of budget too.
It's $7, so maybe not budget. I kind of cheated,
Uh,
but I had to make it. I
I
had
mean,
to put it.
we're not really like strict about the 5 or under. We're kind of like around that price range because I do have like 1 or 2 in this category too.
Exactly. And dude, I agree with what you just said so much. Like the dies to removal argument is only good if you have to put into your head that 3 opponents are trying to stop one guy.
Yeah.
But that is not what happened. That's not what's happening. I lost my S's there for a
Okay.
second. What's happening is like everybody's trying to stop everybody, and everybody's playing cards that are not okay. So
Mhm.
it's just who's playing the not okay cards at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's just what you need to look
Well,
for.
and that's why I just really hate the kill on site commanders. I don't want to go on a rant too much because like if like every set has a new kill on site commander like Azula or like all these other things, it's just like, well, if everything's kill on site, then like what do I need to use my removal for? It's just like, and if you remove the wrong thing at the wrong time, the other person will just win. So it's just like, it's kind of just a weird argument.
Yeah, especially if like someone's playing Korvold in the 99 and you have Azula in your command zone. Yeah, that's gotta suck for the Azula player.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I've noticed is super strong. Like play your scary cards in the 99, not in the command zone.
Honestly, it's kind of unassuming because everyone gets to see what commander you're playing, but not the 99. And that's just like Reaver Cleaver. Honestly, it's won me a couple of games. I mean, I love Aggravated Assault. Technically, it's not budget, but it's one of my favorite cards that I like playing because It's a little infinite combo-y, not gonna lie. It's one of my favorite combos to utilize in Commander because really it's just all about combat. You're just swinging at people. Sometimes you may just whiff because, oh, hey, they have a lot of blockers that I can't attack into. So, like, obviously sometimes it could whiff. That's why partially I like it a little bit more than some other combos. But tangent over, Reaver Cleaver, very good.
Yeah, I like to give them the illusion of whiffing.
Oh,
So I won't put aggravated assault in my deck. I'll put like 7 extra combat spells with Korvold in there. And then like I'm sacrificing like 8 treasure
oh
tokens,
shoot,
drawing
yeah.
into an extra combat spell, and I'm like, oh, I just found one. That's crazy.
What do you
And then
know?
like yeah, what they don't know is there's like definitely 7 more in my deck.
That are instant
So
speed.
even though like the Reaver Cleaver with Korvold isn't infinite, in all intents and purposes of the word, it definitely is.
No, absolutely. And so we're going to move on from one degenerate card because I think Reaver Cleaver is pretty disgusting, not going to lie.
It's so good.
But
It's
we're going
so
to move
good.
on to another one, and that's actually Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So Ugin the Spirit Dragon
Oh,
is actually about 617. I never thought I would see the day where Ugin the Spirit Dragon is only $6. Like, there's the promo version with the old border that is just very cheap for some reason. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get multiple copies of that. I didn't realize it was just that cheap. It's one of my favorite cards. It's actually the first Planeswalker I've ever pulled in a Magic the Gathering pack, and it's just doing a ton for Commander in your colorless or even multicolor decks. It's just going to be a Lightning Bolt, board wipe, and also a game-winning ultimate too. So there's just a lot of things going for it. Especially 8 CMC is not like the best, but in your like green or red decks, you could get to there pretty quick.
I agree, dude. This is the first command, or sorry, planeswalker that I ever spent money on. I spent $40 on my Ugin,
And I pulled it
and
out of the
because
pack.
of that, yeah, how dare you? It was a how dare you? But because of that, dude, Ugin's like definitely one of my cards that I had to like walk away from because I was just putting Ugin in every deck, just every free, and I still do. Like I'll build a deck, release it on the channel, and then if I build that deck in paper, I'll probably like slotting in Ugin, but just for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has really cool art. Like that's one thing that actually like really like got me into Magic was like a lot of different art pieces, like from Tarkir especially. Like Ugin was one of those where I was just like, what in the world is this? Like it was kind of funny when I first got this card out of a pack. I'm like, I don't understand this. I'm not going to put it in any decks because I was a new player and I just thought, okay, it might be just something that's not even existent in any decks. But turns out it was an all-star at a time.
Yeah, dude, it went up to 70 at once,
Oh
and then
shoot.
and then it got reprinted, which
Yeah.
thank God. But yeah, it went up to
But
70.
$6 for this card. I'm just like, that's a steal if I've ever seen one. I mean, maybe it's just the magic boomer in my mind, even though I'm not a boomer. But it's just, man.
I agree. My next card is a vegetable. I included a vegetable in my pet cards. I went through and I decided which one of these cards do I think that I play that not a lot of other people do, and I think it's Canopy Cover. Canopy Cover is a 2 CMC enchantment. It says enchanted creature can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. And then it says enchanted creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control.
I forgot about that card completely. I.
Dude, I play this in any deck that has a combat damage trigger. Paco
Oh.
and Haldan, it's in there. Yidris, it's in there. It's just if you don't need, I get Lightning Greaves is good, and I still probably play Lightning Greaves in the same deck I play Canopy Covers, but sometimes Shroud just sucks.
Mhm.
And so for those decks where Shroud sucks, it's like, okay, I'll play Canopy Cover and I'll get my combat damage trigger at the same time.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I dig it. Honestly, I never really thought about that card too much. So, like, hey, I think it's really good, especially if you want to get that combat trigger. If you have like Toski on the battlefield or a lot of other creatures, like I mean, if they have a Reaver Cleaver and you just want to like, okay, I'm just attached to this
Hmm.
too, and then just get all that treasure because it can't be blocked. So I think yeah, there's a lot of case scenario where this is very good.
That's the problem with the guy with the removal spell. He forgets about Canopy Covers, and then you're screwed.
Right? No,
My
exactly.
other one was gonna be Tybalt's Trickery, but that card's like $8 now. So I was like, ugh,
Yeah, that's a little
dang.
yeah. I try to find like
Yeah,
around the $5 or less. Like I know some was a little bit more.
yeah, 100%. But Canopy Covers, like that card used to be like 20 cents, and now it's like $2. And half of me's like, I've been putting it in all these. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like this
Yeah.
this this deck or this card just does perform. It's also won me games.
Right.
And that's kind of like the key theme of these pet cards. Yes, they're pet cards. Yes, they all have utility, but they've also just like generated me enough value throughout the course of the game to be the all-star, which is kind of cool in my opinion.
So yeah, I really like that pick. I think it's pretty. I never really thought about that card in that way. I mean, I should have probably more, but I think it's because it has the aura effect. I think that's part of the problem I have with it. But I still think it's pretty good for the shroud effect too.
Yeah, I like. Well, it's hexproof.
Oh, is it hexproof?
That's
Okay,
what.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Right,
hexproof. That's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
like it.
I had to like base it off of what I remembered, and you mentioned
Oh
shroud,
no, you're.
but
Yeah, I did mention shroud. I messed with you.
yeah,
You're
seriously.
good.
Yeah, again, we're not seeing each other's lists. I'm just looking at my own list and like trying to remember what I'm going to be saying on mine. So
Yeah, sometimes I'm looking yours up, like,
yeah, no,
but
exactly. I had to look that one up and I'm like, oh shoot. But we are at the last one. That was his last one. This is going to be my last one, and that's great or good. It's going to go in
oh, dude.
any Stompy deck that I ever have. It's only at $2, and I mean, it's just an enchantment on the battlefield that just wins games. Like, there's a lot of situations where a board wipe's coming. I'm just like, sack, 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 sack. Just sack all my creatures, draw a bunch of cards, and obviously you're going to be discarding cards along the way, but most likely you're going to be positive, getting net positive on card draw. This, I feel like, is a little too powerful in some situations. I didn't really read it, but you sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then discard 3 cards. This just has won me so many games. I can't even tell you how many.
I'm right in there with you. Dude, I cut that from my list because I was like,
Dang.
could I justify having like 4 green cards on my list? And I was like, okay, we'll cut it. We'll put the reaver cleaver. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, greater good makes it into any green deck I run that has a mill strategy. It just makes it. Like any power matter strategy, any mill strategy, if I can justify having the discard effect to be a plus, I'm putting it in the deck.
Yeah.
And then if I'm just running big creatures, it's just going to go in there anyway.
Yeah, no, there's one situation where I had greater good out on the battlefield. I just drew a bunch of a lot of cards, and then I had a like instant speed reanimation spell, which reanimated Galta Stampede Tyrant, and so I just like sacrificed my whole board, everything. And then I just drew all the cards, and then just put it on the battlefield. Put all my creature cards on the battlefield, especially with like Surak and Goreclaw, and it just won me the game from there. So again, it's disgusting. Greater good. I mean, just the fact that it's an enchantment, not an instant speed spell, makes this just ridiculous.
I agree, dude. One of my favorite cards. Okay, something that's not okay. Greater good and ominous seas.
Oh shoot! Yeah, because you get to sacrifice 8. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so anybody who doesn't know Ominous Seas, it's a 2 CMC enchantment that says whenever you draw a card, you get to put a counter on it. I don't know what the counter is called. We'll call the counter for here, right? And then once you get to 8 counters, you can take those counters off and make an 8/8 Kraken creature. So in the case of having greater good, you sacrifice the 8/8, put 8 more counters on it, then you basically are able to draw your entire deck that way. It's so fun.
I think I'm gonna have to build that now. Now you like convinced me. I never thought. I mean, I never thought about Ominous Seas that way, but that totally rocks, honestly.
I just built a Mimeoplasm deck and I put that combo in there.
Oh, that's awesome. Honestly, yeah.
I put Ominous Seas Mimeoplasm. It is so fun.
No, I dig it. That's honestly really cool. I never thought about that. I mean, I thought about them as separate cards, but I never really thought about it that way.
Oh yeah, dude, it's a fun combo. And like people are like, nope, that works. And they're either salty about it or they're not, depending on what.
No, I think that's just cool. Like that synergy,
I think,
like awesome. Like,
I think it's cool too.
Like,
yeah, I think it's cool.
Now I need to make a Simic deck, which just the thought of it just makes me just
cringe. Add teamer,
or, all right.
or Sultai.
All right, yeah,
but I can't have my buddy making a Simic deck. Dude.
No,
we'd have to end the podcast.
So yeah, exactly. No. And so those are 10 cards we both had. We each had 10 cards we just love that we just like to talk about. And in a general sense, these are more budget. So you're going to be seeing a lot of these that are relatively around the $5 range, some more, some less. Let us know down below in the comments, what are your favorite cards that you like to run in your own decks?
Yeah, and specifically the cards that you run in your deck that you don't see a lot of other people running, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but with that being said, I hope you guys have a great one, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.